Now, what is it that denotes him as a pedophile? His description of pedophiles from prison shows that he was in an alpha unit, which means he's either a pedophile or a cop. Which is it? So this guy's got pedophile hunter on his hat. The guy wants to run his mouth and call people snitches. Talk about how nobody respects a snitch. Then he talks about how he's got to call the cops for his events. Well, who is it that thinks they got a right to call somebody a snitch after that? Although on the bright side, in the last video of his that I saw, I typed in there that I don't like pedophiles and that I am. The very next video I saw of his, he's admitting to being a snitch after talking shit about people being snitches. Holy fuck, what a special kind of stupid. Can this country survive one Shawn Schwartz? Well, it doesn't seem like they're doing too hot. It seems to me there's lots of people complaining about the things that I'm telling you about, just not doing anything about it. All you do is fucking complain, and then complain that nothing you do will ever do any good when you literally try nothing but complaining. Meanwhile, it wouldn't just be complaining if you would complain to the right people, with the right people. So you got to do it with the other victims. You work together or you get nothing, because rightfully so. You deserve nothing if you're that selfish. If you're going to help child molesters get away, you are a special kind of fucked in the head. When you tell the victim to just let it go, and the victim gets to see their friends and loved ones end up fucking corpses because you're bitches, well, guess what? We ain't friends, and I don't give two holy fucking goddams how much you want to try to butter my biscuits. You're a bitch. When it comes to Air Pedophile Hunter here, the chances of him fucking little kids is pretty high up there. I wonder if he has the balls to come hunt down a man 1/3 his size for calling him a chimo. Come on, chimo. Obviously you were in an alpha unit. Obviously you're a fucking snitch. Obviously you're a fucking hypocrite. And obviously I'm calling your bitch ass out. You ain't a pedophile hunter. You're a fucking pedophile. You don't give a holy goddamn about the victim. You care about your personal prestige, your likes, your popularity. On the bright side, I got your number, bitch. What's your jacket, motherfucker? Now here's the thing, punk asses like this asswipe. Well, they like to bully people. And any excuse for bullying is a good excuse. If they can call you a pedophile, well then magically they'll get free reign of harming you and nobody will give a shit. It doesn't have to be true, and they fucking know it. Same as you know it. Every woman in America has been taught from day one, if she doesn't get what she wants, tell one of the 3 lies. You don't have to back it up. You don't need witnesses. You don't need jack shit. All you need is a set of tits. And even then, it's optional. Because it's not the breasts that make you a woman, is it? We all know men with breasts, and we all know women without. And we know men with breasts and women without. It must be some other part of our anatomy, something that's different, something that separates men from women. What's the difference between men and women? Boys have penises, girls have vaginas. Learned that from Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's pretty famous, isn't he? Look at this. Maybe you listen to him. What's the difference between boys and girls? Boys and girls. By the way, he had to approve every line in that movie, apparently. Which means that any line that was in there was approved by him. Something that he found acceptable in some way, shape, or form. I see these websites like this, where they want to go after mostly disabled people. They try to find people who are easy to victimize, as you do. Sure, it's your uncle who raped you, or your dad, or your stepdad, or your mom. Statistically, it's one or the other of your parents. 80% of the time. When it comes to physical abuse, mothers are far more likely to beat on their children than fathers. They're also more likely to do it frequently.
Let's get a talking quick, man.
Are you good?
Hope you're not mad at me.
Oh, I don't get mad at you guys.
Multiple complaints now about the loitering. Searching back and over there, stuff over here from employees, customers. We gotta have you stop doing that.
Okay.
It looks weird on camera. The owners asked me who it was that was walking from over there. That is a real thing. I had no idea because I was on vacation. So it came about when I was over on my weekend. I was gone for 5 days. Gotta stop that. Aaron's gonna come out and get that. Aaron's gonna come out and do that.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Gotta ask you to stop doing that. I'm not trying to be a dick. There's something above me that I have to listen to. They're my bosses.
You're totally good.
The other thing too is if you're coming into the shop just to hang out, let them know. We'll come outside and talk to you. If you're coming inside and you're not buying anything, we have to have you buy something. Otherwise, it is loitering. And I'm not here to. I don't like enforcement rules. I never said shit before until it came about when I was gone. So it is what it is. We like you. We love you, dude. If you ever need a cigarette, just fucking holler at me or something. I'll leave you a cigarette somewhere. But it does look a little odd because the owner owns both this and this, and we just want to make sure that he's appeased to what's going on. It does look a little weird because we do have cameras right there that see us have people like bend over and grab stuff, look around. I don't want him calling the cops. I ain't gonna do it. I know who you are.
You're totally good.
But if you need to smoke or something like that, which I'll give you right now.
I definitely want one, but a lot of times people blindside me with stuff, like the cops just come talk to me. I'd rather have you talk to me like this.
You know I like you, dude. I ain't got no problem with you.
Yeah.
But I want to see you stay around. I don't want to see you fucking somebody calling the cops on me for some dumb fucking reason, especially when I'm not here to back it up. Say, hey, no, he's cool. And a lot of them are defending as well. Like, hey, no, he's innocent, he's harmless, which you've been nothing but harmless and innocent, and that's cool for me. I just have to repeat what's said to me by them. And hang out there till we come out and say, hey, dude, don't mean to bug. I just need to fucking smoke right now. Like, cool, whatever. We're not I don't like being called I'm Jewish. I don't like being fucking Nazi about shit. But
right.
I do have to enforce a certain standard.
And notice I got the curls.
I get you too. Shalom. Always wondered what it's like to be top Jew. But nothing but love for you, brother. Just holler at us, man. If I have some spare cigarettes, I'll start leaving a little bucket around. Do you have a phone?
I do.
Just give us a call at the shop and say, hey, Matt there. And just don't say who it is. Let them say, hey, I'm looking for Matt. If Matt's not here, say, I'll call back later or whatever. Just we want to make sure that we're enforcing it the same with everyone else because, I yell at people for digging on our trash, shit like that. If you don't do that, I know you don't. But we just want to make sure everyone is equals here and everyone's doing what they're told, which to me being told by fucking people who employ me and pay my checks that I need to do something. And guarantee that they're listening to me right now. So nothing but love for you, brother.
Absolutely.
Don't feel afraid to call us and ask you. I understand the shit's hard right now. Shit's tough, and I ain't here to fucking make it tougher on anyone. But nothing but love to you. If you need to smoke, like I said, just go to the call. I'll start saving little my buttons because the most of the butts you can find around here are mine because I don't smoke a whole cigarette or get caught off guard and have to go do something. But we'll take care of you, man. I promise that.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you at least being nice about shit and not fucking destroying everything. And at least you're not here every day, every waking minute looking for one. So You know, nothing but love to you. And
Yeah, this is my last option for showing up for cigarettes because I don't like showing up here because you guys are good. Thank you.
you know, it's just
But a lot of people, they're jerks and they just call the cops without ever telling me there's a problem. I'd rather have
you know,
people
the
tell
cop,
me
right?
I didn't know that.
I was an Arizona Department of Public Safety officer, Maricopa County Sheriff for fucking 3 years. Like, this is the last year. Actually, I just brought it up to somebody. The last thing I want to do is fucking be that guy again. I came to do this. I came to give my patients the medicine that they need. And, you know, sometimes just a little extra love tap to somebody is what they need. But like I said, I ain't here to be a Nazi. I already did my time in the military, did my time as an officer, and much better ways of going out things. You know, you talk to somebody and you be human with them, then they'll probably be respectful of it and treat you the same way. But when you come at them like a fucking, you know, don't want to be around that person, or they're not human, they're sub to me. That's when you start getting people who start to act up, man. And
They did that to me over at Fred Meyer's. I just don't go back. They did that to me over at Denny's. Now at Denny's, it wasn't their fault. I had a mental breakdown, and that's definitely not their fault.
I've heard your mental breakdowns in the parking lot, and I feel bad for you, man. I ain't here to tell you fucking go seek help or anything like that. You know what's right for yourself, and at the end of the day, you know, it's what you do for yourself is what you do, and if it's your capacity.
31 calls and 11 visits in the last 7 days, and still I've gotten absolutely nowhere. I've been doing that for 7 months. So
You tried a different county.
can't do a different county. I started off in Hood River. From Hood River, I got sent to the Dalles. From the Dalles, I got sent to Portland, Salem, and Eugene.
Have you hit up
And
CARE?
that's how I ended up getting stuck here. CARE is the first place I went to.
You don't get any of the houses. They help people out. Those
I've
bosses.
filled out all of the housing at every agency that they have here. There's 11 different agencies here in Tillamook, and then there's 7 more that I've had to call elsewhere. Everything from the ombudsman on forward. Problem is, I'm autistic, and when I'm scared, I have speaking problems, and that's used against me every single time. So then people just reword everything that I say into something that it's not, and go, he's mentally ill, he doesn't know what he's talking about, we ought to treat him like he's schizophrenic. So, yeah, a lot of the cops here, they talk to me like I'm dumb, like I'm an idiot. The human trafficking here, nobody can deny that that's going on. The drug issues here, the influx of the blues here, I mean, this is all stuff that everybody in the community is aware of. It's not like I'm talking about crazy stuff off in the movies. However, since I'm not going to be able to come here to buy anything until tomorrow, because that's when my payday is, I'm going to go ahead and head out.
You need a joint or something?
I'm too broke for that.
Nah, I got you. Hang out right here. Move this way. This container's got 20 joints in it.
Oh, wow.
Cheers, bud.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for understanding.
Be safe. I hope you don't mind. I'm not coming back until tomorrow.
I don't give a shit. You got enough joints to last you for a week?
This will last me a month. I literally threw away the last, what I got at the beginning of the month yesterday.
Well, make that you don't have to come by to me right away. If you
Yes,
want to come talk and buy something, that's cool too. I ain't judging it. Cheers, brother.
Be safe.
Stay up,
Thank
brother. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I know you asked a lot, but give us a call. Let us know you need to talk about
Will do.
it. Come out and have a cigarette with you.
I like talking to not Zach because he's kind of a dork like me. Maybe not the same status, but he's close.
He's one of my favorites, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mariposa County. What do we know about Mariposa County? I believe that is where Sarah Bacon is from. The sheriff there is Sheriff Jackson, I believe. And he's been the sheriff for 11 years. From the police force, obviously, that would be not under the sheriff. That would be under whoever the police chief was at the time. And as we've seen recently, most of these police stations in America, almost 3/4 of them, are having major issues with their upper echelon. Garden County, Nebraska has had 3 different interim sheriffs in the last decade. That's because sheriffs in Nebraska don't feel that they should have to follow the law, and they won't follow the law until an upstanding member of the community complains. What would be the quickest way to get rid of Sheriff Scott DaCosta? Well, you'd have to get Mr. Cabela mad at him. Mr. Cabela, he's a little too old to be smoking them rocks anymore, or snorting that coke anymore without having a heart attack. But he still made most of his money doing that and has a lot of connections because of that. Of course, I get a little bit of slight immunity from all of that stupidity, because the moment you kill somebody who's called mentally ill after they've exposed as much shit as I have, that's gonna make people take a look and scrutinize it. Also, that guy was absolutely right. There are lots of people who tell me things that they're absolutely wrong about, morally or legally. But that gentleman, well, he was right about what he said. And if you guys have been paying attention to my channel, we've already looked up the things that he spoke about, with the exception of his personal portions. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with 20 joints, though. That'd take me a fucking month to smoke. More than that. We can work together and we can make a positive change. There's a way to keep me safe from Robert Warnick, and there is a way to keep Robert Warnick safe. Sorry, not Robert Warnick. Oh, I guess I have to go around. I meant to say Robert Farnsworth. There's a way for us to be safe from Mr. Farnsworth, and a way for us to keep Mr. Farnsworth safe. But it requires coordination. And when we've decided that quote-unquote single mothers with 2 boyfriends who are mooching off of the system, who are strung out on meth, when we've decided that these women are more important because they have children, we've kicked ourselves in the teeth. We've kicked ourselves in the ass. We need to stop doing that. Now, that guy who wants to talk shit has that pedophile hunter hat on. With his description of what he was doing, where he was at, and what he did, he was on an alpha unit. There's only one way to get on an alpha unit. You're either a bad cop or a pedophile. There's no in between. Even snitches don't go to alpha units. Nope. Snitches go to special management. That's either a behavioral health unit, or you get a room with a hole in the center of the floor that you have to shit in. And that's all you get. You get to sleep on the floor naked. When they talk about putting you in the hole ain't quite what you see in the movies where you're in the dark and a little tiny 3x4 cell. Isn't that what they always show in the movies? You basically got a bench that's big enough for half your body, and that's it. Ain't no room to sleep except in the fetal position, cement floor, cement bench. God damn. Why do they get undercover vehicles that are exactly the same as their patrol vehicles? It makes them stick out like a sore thumb. We've heard from a few cops about how screwed up the system is. We've heard from quite a few people, period, about how screwed up the system is. We also get to see why. Because as soon as you get somebody with the mentally ill tag, the rules change automatically because this is a free ride. This is a free packet of money for doing jack shit, for wasting time, for dragging it out. That makes it impossible for the victim to ever get justice. And then, of course, the idea is if you move to another county, another county, another county, another county, another state. I stand up to these people everywhere I go. One thing you might have noticed is that I'm a big old weenie. Well, that's correct. At the same time, I'm the weenie who's gonna scream at the top of his lungs when some big-ass fucking lanky asshole decides he's gonna chase down a tiny woman with severe mental problems from being beaten down and raped repeatedly. And this guy, bigger than me, for surely can beat me to death. The video is called Jamie Again. In the first 30 seconds, you get to see that guy chase her down and punch her in the back of the head. You can hear him hit her in the head. That's how hard he hit her. And it is from quite a distance. And yes, I did yell at him. Yes, I did draw his attention. And yes, the first thing he did was start yakking about himself and his BS. I diffused it the best I could. I did a great job of diffusing it, and the man admitted to murdering somebody on that very same video within 5 minutes of it getting started. If the homeless worked together, we could have done a lot of good. If the police would have worked together to solve crimes instead of hiding the wrongdoings of their fellow officers, we could have done a lot of good. Of course, there's the whole snitches thing, isn't there? You can't go to the cops because you're a snitch. You can't go to your friends because that makes you a stalker. So no matter what, as a male, you can't do anything, especially if you're homeless, especially if you're called mentally ill. Anyway, that's the only dispensary I buy pot at. The only one. And it's not because it's cheap. It's because I have a personal guarantee that nothing that comes out of that shop is going to have fentanyl in it. It's not going to have heroin in it. It's not going to have methamphetamines in it. And anything that I am handed by a homeless person here in Tillamook, I do have to look at very suspect. Because it very well could have fentanyl in it. And it very well could kill me or kill others. There's a video where a police officer, she was checking a drug stop, or a traffic stop for drugs, and she found some drugs, and the wind blew it all up in her face. That's not a good thing. That's not something that you want happening. Thank goodness for her, there were people there with some of this stuff. Narcan nasal spray, 4 milligrams. Use Narcan nasal spray for known or suspected opioid overdose in adults and children. Important for use in nose only. Do not remove or test the Narcan nasal spray until ready to use. This box contains 2 4-milligram doses of naloxone HCI nasal spray. That lady police officer, she was non-responsive, not breathing. They sprayed some of that into her nose and she started responding immediately, moving her eyes, looking weird places. Obviously, she was having to come back to reality, but thank goodness she wasn't dead. Of course, that depends on who you ask. When it comes to good cops, I've known good cops. How do I know they were good cops? Because they weren't cops for long. When it comes to officers just doing their jobs, are you sure you're just doing your job? Because if there are at-risk and endangered adults out here being harmed, and you're just doing your job and they're still being harmed, are you really doing your job? Between making me go public about it and record this shit, or helping me to turn it in where it doesn't have to be all public, please don't make me record it and post it publicly. That's highly inappropriate of you to do so. That's not something somebody should have to do in order to get heard. People shouldn't have threatened to kill me, and even more so, they shouldn't have threatened to kill my friends and family. Now, he's right. I've been in there 3 times just to visit. And I let him know I'm just going in to visit. And I make sure I show my thing to the camera, my ID. That way nobody gets in trouble. One of those times was because I knew they had an ATM. So I checked the ATM to see how much money I had. The other 2 times I went in to talk to people there that I knew that, well, they're always pleasant to me. Now, as far as the people that work there, they're always pleasant to me. Always. They don't give me any reason to hate on them. Now, as far as the boss not liking me going out there and looking for tobaccos, well, you know what? You set the rules, I'll do my best to follow them. If you set rules I can't follow, I just won't go back. No problem. They don't get enough money out of me for it to really be worthwhile for me to be a customer. But it's worthwhile for me. And it's worthwhile for a lot of the other people that I talk to around here when they say, hey, you know, where do I go to make sure I don't get meth in my pot? Where do I go to make sure I don't have heroin in my pot? Or some other sort of fucked up opioid? How do I make sure that my pot isn't dusted? I say, well, go to the TLC, the other side of the McDonald's. They'll make sure you don't get nothing tainted. Y'all know how I feel about police officers. You know what those guys are doing? It's called a freedom ride. You should look it up. There's about 20 of them in that group. There's about 250 of them overall that started this trip. Matter of fact, if you look it up right now, you might even find out what this freedom ride is for. There was a freedom ride when Natalie died in Virginia. Lots of bikers were involved. And only 1/3 of those bikers are on my shit list. The cops don't want to work together with me, that's fine. The homeless don't want to work together with me, that's fine. That's not going to stop me from doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You're not going to be able to shut me up without putting a bullet in my head. Remember that. Write that down.